Hi there, I'm Natasha. This is my channel, Always Be Crafting. And today is Monday, specifically Monday, January 6th, 2025. And it's a new year. It's the first Monday of the year. And if you've been with my channel for a little while, you know that every Saturday, sorry, my dog is moving around. Every Saturday, I do something called On Saturdays, I Sew. And I love having that weekly format devoted to sewing. And I love sewing. Honestly, sewing is probably the most of the majority of my crafting. There goes my doggo. Don't look behind the curtain. There's nothing to see here. One dog in, one dog out. Anyways, so on Saturdays, because I'm primarily sewing, I don't really get to talk about any of the other crafting I'm doing. And this channel is called Always Be Crafting. And I don't want you to think that this is only a sewing channel, even if sewing is the majority of the crafting I do. It's not the only crafting I do. And I decided it might be really good for me as a YouTuber to have one other weekday devoted to other makes. So I decided Monday is a day that is very convenient with my work schedule that I can come on here and chat with you about some of the other things I'm making. So I thought, how about Monday making, right? Or making it Monday, or even mapping it Monday. And I can talk about the things I have mapped out for my week, what's going on. But since it's the first Monday of the year, I thought maybe I'll map out or talk about some of the things I'm making for the year, like what's coming up this year. What are some of my goals? What are some of my hopes and dreams? Because then I have a way to kind of look back next year and see where I've gone. It's sort of an accountability partner, if you will. I hope that this is something useful or entertaining for you. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing here today. So again, I'm Natasha. Thank you for joining me. I hope you like what you see. I hope you give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, I hope you subscribe and tell your friends. Just by watching and interacting, you're telling YouTube that what content I'm providing is useful, and they'll push it out in front of other people as well. So let's talk. What am I making this year? So there is a challenge out in the world, in the interwebs here on YouTube, called Make 9. That is a challenge where you choose 9 patterns or 9 fabrics or 9 ideas that you want to make. And I thought that was a great place for me to start. So what are 9 things I want to make? Now, I've closed my drapes behind me. These drapes are somewhat contentious because I used to teach my music classes. This is my basement craft room, and I'm a music teacher by day, crafter by night. During COVID, my tables were gone. I had to open up the space completely, so I had a place to Zoom my classes for my families and students. And I installed this curtain rod behind me so I could kind of hide the mess, you know? And I've been thinking I want to get rid of these curtains because they don't serve a purpose anymore. Then today I thought, well, let's hide the mess and maybe create sort of a backdrop. So I'll pause the video for a moment. I'm gonna straighten out the curtains again because my dogs have now made them a little crazy. And yeah, we'll put up pictures of what I want to make for Make 9. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I think I've gathered everything I need and I've cleaned up the curtains. So in no particular order of when I'm going to make these items, because I'm trying to give myself permission to make things as I feel I have time to make them. There are some items that are clothing and some items that are quilting and some items that are bags on this list. So let's start with a quilted pattern. The book that I'm pulling this pattern from is called Curve Appeal with 3-yard quilts. And I have not chosen my fabric. I have like a lot of fabric, and I have some more fabric actually coming to me because I had placed some orders in December and some fabric has not yet arrived. So I have not decided which fabric I want to use, but the pattern specifically in this book that I want to try. Let's see, I want to make sure I don't give away anything. Let's see, I think I can show you. Like this is called Mosaic. Now I have a glare off my ring light. So what I'll do is I'll take a picture because it's glossy paper. I'll take a picture of it and put it right there. And I just think this is so beautiful. And I think doing something with curves is going to be challenging for me. I think it's going to be a challenge for me because I don't do curves. And I was going to do curves last year. My son helped me design a quilt with a whole lot of curves. And then because I was making it for my nephew, I changed all those curves to straight lines so I could get it done quickly. So this quilt will be for me, so I don't have to rush through it. Okay, so that's quilt number 1. I guess I'll stick with quilts for a minute. I had joined a sew along last summer and I did not get to finish it. And that's what I want to do. It is from Allison Glass and it is the Stamp Block Sew Along. And I'll put a picture of it here. So if you were with me last summer, you saw me cutting my fabric. You saw me talking about my fabric. It is mostly, it's all Tula Pink prints for my center squares. And since I finished cutting all the fabric in August, was it August? I think it was August. I finished cutting all my fabric. There've actually been at least 1, if not 2 more Tula Pink lines released since then. So I could add squares to it to make it as most up-to-date Tula Pink fabric as possible. So that is on my list for this year. Again, I'm not pushing myself to get this done at a specific date. I was hoping doing a sew along with other people would help motivate me, but those mitered corners really tripped me up, and doing it in the time frame I allowed myself, which was basically the summertime last summer, I was very busy with other things and I just never got to do it and didn't devote the time. So maybe it'll happen in the winter. Maybe it'll happen in the spring. I don't know. But hopefully in 2025, since most of my fabric is already cut and ready to go, I will get to do my Allison Glass Stamp Block quilt. Okay, so those are 2 quilts that I want to do this year. They're both for me. There's one more quilt I want to do for me. This is so selfish, but you know what? That's okay. That's okay. And I just realized I left it over there. So pause and I'll be right back. Okay, I may have to take a picture again because of the glare, but it is called Then Came June, or by the group Then Came June, the designer Then Came June, the Campfire Glow Quilt. And the fabric chosen is all starry. And I purchased this kit, which I never purchase quilt kits, like pre-cut in the sense that she pre-cut the binding strips already, and she gave me the correct yardage, like whatever yardage requirements are on the back of the pattern, that's how much yardage is in the bag. And Quilts with Miss Kate, or Quilts by Miss Kate, I'll put it on the screen, whichever one is correct. She had designed the quilt kit and I purchased it from her in her first, I think, quilt kit drop last, I don't know if it was summer or fall. It might have been summer. I think it might have been right around my birthday. And I was like, that's what I want for my birthday. I'm buying a quilt kit. I'm making myself a quilt because I love this fabric so much. But again, I just ran out of time to devote to making something for myself. So those are the 3 quilts I want to do this year. The curvy one with probably fabric that's on its way to me. Probably. I have some Kaffe plus Liberty fabric coming. Not Kaffe plus Morris fabric coming. I'm really excited. But it's not here yet. It's coming. And I think that's what I'm going to use for the curvy one. And then I have the Starry quilt kit. And then I have the stamp blocks. So that's three quilts. So make 9, 3 quilts. Next. Now I only have 1 bag on my make 9 list, but let's be honest, I make bags constantly, so we know I'm gonna make more than 1 bag this year. But the bag that's on my list to make is a By Annie pattern, the 2 Big Totes pattern. It is a really big bag, and I've got plenty of fabric. I have not chosen the fabric for it yet because let's face it, I got plenty of fabric. But it's on my list, and I know that if I don't make a point of doing this, I'm going to get distracted by my, my bag of the month kits, and I have like clubs and subscriptions that I do every month, and those are going to come in, and I'm going to get distracted by those things. So I said, you know what? I really want to make this 2 Big Totes because it's not like a luggage bag because it doesn't zip all the way closed at the top. So you can't use it for luggage. There's openings, but it's supposed to be really huge. And I do want to do the size large specifically, and it uses quilt cotton like all By Annie bags do. But in this case, it also uses a vinyl or cork bottom. And I love that idea because I've got lots of vinyl and lots of cork. And I have done that myself with other By Annie bags where I've adjusted them to include vinyl or cork at the bottom. So I love that she has done a pattern already doing that for us. So I really want to make this bag. And if I don't put it on the list, I'm going to get distracted. Okay, so 1 bag and 3 quilts. That means the rest of the list, the next 5 items, are all clothing. And I have to put them on the list because otherwise I won't make them. Do you see this shirt? This is a Scout tee, and I made this for myself. And I'm so proud of myself for making a Scout tee. It is the 2nd Scout tee I made, if you don't count my toile, because my toile was not even a wearable toile. I learned a lot from it, but it was not even a wearable toile. But I made then a Halloween Scout tee that has been great, and it's perfect at Halloween. And then I made this Scout tee, and it's a double gauze, and I love it, and I wear it frequently. Now, I'll probably make more Scout tees, but that's not on my list. My list is new patterns. Well, 1 pattern that is a repeat, and then the rest are new. Okay, so let's do the other. Okay, we'll do the repeat first. The repeat is the Elemental Coat. So technically I've only done a toile of this, but it's a wearable toile. So I've made the coat and I have worn it because it's a wearable toile, but it was not exactly like what I would consider a finished coat. So it was my sample coat. So this year I'm making a real honest to goodness elemental coat, and I picked out cheater cloth. So I'm going to quilt it, but it is cheater patchwork. If you watched any of my videos that I did the quilt shop hop on, I picked up this cheater cloth from Moda on one of my shop hops, I think in Connecticut. If I remember correctly, I was in Connecticut. So, and I live in Connecticut. So that is going to be for my real non-toile elemental coat. So that's my repeat. Now, I have another cheater cloth. I have this cheater cloth. How fun is that? And I have another quilt coat. So another company, actually Grainline Studio, the same company that did the Scout tee, has a pattern called the Tamarack. And I had purchased the Tamarack pattern before I had purchased the Elemental Coat pattern, but I love Teresa coats, and that's why I did the Elemental Coat first. But I've had the Tamarack longer, pattern-wise, and I'm like, I paid the money for the pattern. I should try the Tamarack quilt coat also. So I thought, another cheater cloth. I'm going to do another quilt coat. And I think because I learned so much from Teresa Coates from the Elemental Coat, Crinkle Dreams, love her. She's amazing. And I did like a tutorial with her when I made my toile, my wearable toile for the Elemental Coat. So I think I'll be able to apply what I learned from her onto my tamarack, even though it's a different pattern. I think the process is going to be very similar. So I don't think I need to make it a wearable toile. I think I'll be able to just make a coat. So I picked out another cheater cloth for that. So I'll have 2 quilt coats. I'll probably try to do those soon because it's snowing outside as I say this, and it would be nice to have quilt coats this time of year, but who knows? Again, no pressure. Same studio, Grainline Studio, another t-shirt pattern. This one is called the Uniform Tunic. And the thing I liked about this pattern is you can do 2 different fabrics from top and bottom, and this bottom portion has pockets. So like think of scrubs, like that doctors and nurses wear at the hospital. I think that was sort of their inspiration. It is made for wovens, not for like stretch fabrics. So I have plenty of wovens, but I like the idea of doing color blocking, and I love the different sleeves. You could do sleeveless or with sleeves. And so I thought that was really cool. I love the idea of having pockets, especially when I'm teaching, because when I'm teaching, I gotta put stuff somewhere. And I thought that would be really cool to have when I'm teaching. And I love the idea of color blocking because I've got fabulous fabrics, like the amount of Kaffe, the amount of Tula, the amount of Ruby Star, the amount of fabric I have, I just need to use it. So why not find a pattern that I can do some color blocking with? And excuse me, I had to hiccup. 2 different necklines, so like a scoop neck and a V-neck, which are very comfortable for me. So I'm excited about that pattern. Okay, so that's 3 wearables so far. 2 more. All right, so this one I'm a little nervous about. I love So Hungry Hippie patterns. I really do. And this one is called the Jill Tunic. I don't really have a good picture of it, but if I find one on the internet, I'll show you a picture of the Jill Tunic. I'm only worried about this pattern because it has the seam kind of go across the bust line, and there's pleating there. And I'm heavy chested, and I'm worried that that pleating won't look good on me. That's what I'm worried about. But I love Natalie at So Hungry Hippie, and I really wanted to support her. And every Jill Tunic that other people in the sewing group have made and shown off, all of them look amazing on all different body types. So I feel like I should just go for it, you know? And you can use all kinds of fabric. She says you can use wovens, you can use stretch, you can use light fabrics. I mean, it just feels like I've just got to try. So I have to try to get through that fear of, where that seam is and just try it, because I won't know until I try. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Maybe in this case, I'll probably make a toile first. I probably won't do a toile of the Grainline Studios one because because I've already done Grainline, like the Scout Tee, I'll be able to apply my like measurements and everything that I had done for the Scout Tee. I'll be able to apply to the Uniform Tunic. Like some things translate, so I'll be able to apply that back and forth. So that's a little nerve-wracking, but I'm going to try because, like I said, I love Natalie. I want to try. I want to support her. So I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. Get over the fear. Just do it. But I'll make a wearable. I'm going to try for a wearable toile first. And I think I'm probably going to use rayon because that was one of the fabrics she recommends as being like light and drapey. And I have a lot of rayon. So I think that's what I'm going to try. All right. Last thing. I'm torn. This is not make 10. This is make 9. But I don't know which one of these things I want to make because both of them honestly scare me. So here they are. One option is the Riley overalls, because who doesn't love overalls? Why am I nervous? Bottoms. I'm nervous about bottoms. And the second option is from the Make It Yours with Mimi G book. She includes a elastic waist palazzo pants. And again, bottoms. Bottoms scare me. I'm heavy set. I'm worried about picking the wrong fabric. I'm worried about chafing. I'm worried about getting the crotch wrong. So in both of these cases, the overalls and the palazzo pants, I'm worried about messing up. I'm worried that I'm going to have to make adjustments to the pattern based on measurements, based on the measurements between my waist and my hips. And I'm worried about my thighs being too big. These are the things I'm worried about. I'm just being very honest, but I also know that the whole reason we make our own clothes is so we can get things that fit our bodies, and not to make ourselves feel bad about our bodies not fitting clothes. We make the clothes to fit our bodies. So mentally, emotionally, I know that this should be what I'm striving for, but because I haven't done it, I'm scared. So I don't know which one of those things I'm going to try, but my goal is this year I will tackle something on the bottoms. I don't know which one it's going to be. So that's my Make 9. There's 3 quilts, 3 very different quilts. Mitered corners are challenging. Curves are challenging. A quilt kit that's someone else's assembled, the fabrics for me. It's a totally different mental process. So different things. 2 quilt coats, t-shirt, a different t-shirt than the Scout tee that I'm very comfortable with already, but the same designer, a tunic, both of them are tunics technically. The Jill tunic, which again, kind of scary because I'm not sure about where the seams are, if that's going to be good for me, and then pants or something on the bottoms, whether it's overalls or pants. So that's my Make 9. Okay, I did it. I put it out there. It's out there in the universe. You've heard it here. Hopefully I've designed a little grid now with all the things so we can see how we do. And then next year, I'll be able to come back and check things off the list. So what do you think? How do we like this? This Monday mapping, Monday making, Monday make it so. I don't know. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hopefully liking and subscribing, and let's see what happens this year. I'll be back on Saturday with a Saturday I Sew, and I'll be back then 2 days later on next Monday so you can see what I'm getting up to in the crafty world. I'm sure there's going to be crafting, non-sewing on next Monday plans because I will have a work-related craft that I'm going to be preparing next Monday. So this was a lot of sewing talk today, but next Monday I know is going to be non-sewing. So there you go. Thanks again for watching. I look forward to hearing from anyone. If you have ideas, feedback, I'd love to hear it. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.